Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Pooh Shiesty. Now, Pooh Shiesty was one of the hottest topics this summer, man. He got locked up, and it was all because of a shooting that took place, and man, it was all bad. To keep it real, it was all bad for a guy whose career was going up and up. He's got several certified plaques. I'm talking about gold and platinum. Dude is doing his thing. And it seems like his homeboy Big 30 done picked up the torch. And all the updates we got about Pooh Shiesty lately have been around his court case and about the trial that's hanging over his head. We found out that the feds were involved. We found out that they had used ways to track and see if they could, match bills up to the crime scene of the alleged incident that took place back at the beach that time. Now, it's looking like we got another update. And I'm not sure if this is good news or if this is bad news, but it's definitely an update. And it looks like it's going to bring Pooh Shiesty's case closer to being resolved before we even know it, man. Now, before we get into the specifics, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, man, I just want to say, I was watching Meek Mill on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, and he talked about Pooh Shiesty, and he brought up a good point. He was like, man, Pooh Shiesty was like everywhere. He was like tearing up the news. He was in every news cycle as far as hip hop was concerned. He was always in the conversation as far as the up and coming rappers who were taking over the game. Remember, he was even on Sage Cheese's list of the top 4 or 5 MCs for last year, man. It looked like it was all up for Pooh Shiesty until it wasn't. And it's all because of these cases that we looking at this situation now with the bad eye, man. Looking at this like, man, this could have went a totally different direction. But man, let's talk about this story that just kicked off from the allhiphop.com, man. They basically put out a story that talked about his case in the latest update. Now, the headline says this: Pooh Shiesty withdraws request to delay federal armed robbery trial. So what I take from that is Pooh Shiesty's legal team, they basically withdrew a request that they already put in to, delay the trial or to try to push the trial down some time while they get their stuff together, right? And it looks like they're withdrawing their request because maybe it's good news. Maybe they know they could win this case out, or, they have a plan in place where they think it'll be better for Pooh Shiesty. But I mean, why would they withdraw that request if it was a bad deal? Now, there's also this section that says this. It says, Pooh Shiesty's trial for federal gun and robbery charges will proceed in October as planned, after his lawyers withdrew a request to delay it. So basically, it's looking like, he's got his case coming up in October. So that's this month. It's looking like this month we're going to have a Pooh Shiesty trial. At least the trial proceedings will start. They'll start bringing people in and stuff like that to talk about the dates that they're going to have to meet for court and all that. And we've seen this before in hip-hop. It's a long, drawn-out process. And I'm hoping the best for Pooh Shiesty, for real, man. Now, the story actually starts by saying this. It says Pooh Shiesty has changed his mind about delaying his trial for armed robbery. According to Rolling Stone, lawyers for Pooh Shiesty and his co-defendants withdrew a request to delay the court proceedings. The trial is scheduled to begin October 25th. So at the end of this month, on October 25th, they're scheduled to be in court in trial, man. And I'm hoping that Pooh Shiesty and his team got it together. But to be honest, I know I said this before, but why in the world would they push for an earlier trial date unless they, we're going to cop a plea or something? Is that still off the table, or do they feel like they can have an open and shut win on this case? So they're like, man, let's just get this out of the way. Now, Pooh Shiesty, whose real name is Lontrell Williams, was indicted for his alleged role in an armed robbery and shooting in Miami-Dade County, Florida. The Atlantic Records artist and two 21-year-old men, Bobby Brown and Jaden DeRosa, are accused of robbing and shooting 2 victims at the Landon Bay Hotel in Bay Harbor Island on October 2020. Now, let me take you guys back in case you forgot. In October 2020, that's when Pooh Shiesty was popping. That's when he really was breaking out as a rap star. Most of that summer he was tearing it up, but man, he really was breaking out at that time. But then out of nowhere, there was this case about him, and I'd like to say it was a video. There was a video that showed up where he got arrested in Florida, right? Now, he had got arrested in Florida, I believe, 2 to 3 times after that or around that time frame. So Florida was a hot spot for Pooh Shiesty, and the dude just kept getting locked up. But this situation specifically was caught on camera and people were able to see Pooh Shiesty and it looked like he was up in the tool, you know what I mean? And everybody went wild with that. You know, it was one of those things that was going all around social media. I did a video on it. Everybody did a video on it, right? Now, the story continues by saying this. It says, authorities say Pooh Shiesty and his associates went to the hotel to buy high-end sneakers and an illegal substance. During the transaction, the 21-year-old rapper allegedly shot one man in the and Brown shot another in the hip. Both victims survived, but the shoes and were stolen. Now, that was the whole scene that was caught on camera. We got to see all of that on camera, man. And since then, that video has been put up. It was put up by the actual news. And you can see the whole thing play out. Now, Pooh Shiesty and his co-defendants have been charged with one count of conspiring to possess firearms in furtherance of crime of violence, conspiring to commit a Hobbs Act robbery, committing a Hobbs Act robbery, and discharging a firearm in furtherance of a crime of violence. Pooh Shiesty pleaded not guilty to all 4 charges. Now, he pleaded not guilty, and his lawyers in this case are saying they want to take it to trial quick, so hopefully they got something to get him out of this. Last week, the legal team for Pooh Shiesty asked the court to delay his trial to properly build his defense. Lawyers sought to push the trial back to at least December 6th, but prosecutors said it would need to be delayed until February 2020 if the request was granted. I think they meant to say in this article February 2022, you know what I mean? Because February 2020 done passed a long time ago. Pooh Shiesty and his co-defendants switched course in legal filing on Monday, declaring it was in their best interest to proceed to trial. On October 25th, their lawyers made the decision to proceed despite voluminous amount of discovery involved. So by him saying there's a voluminous amount of discovery involved, they're saying that there's a lot of discovery. Like there's pictures, videos, all his Instagram stuff that they put in there, man. There's so much that they got to look over in the discovery. Maybe that's why Pooh Shiesty and them, they wanted to push this forward to see if they could find anything, you know, that sticks out that was maybe taken by means they could go against, or something that maybe just didn't match up with the trial that they're using against them. You feel me? Now, the story finishes by saying this. It says the Memphis-bred rapper's legal team may have been worried about what prosecutors could do with more time to prepare for the case. According to Rolling Stone, the feds told the court they were reviewing new allegations and a possible superseding indictment. So it looks like they're looking at new allegations against Pooh Shiesty and another indictment. So, man, Pooh Shiesty, man, I don't know what to say about this cat. Everything we get about this story from him seems like bad news. And it looks like even in this story, they're saying that they're rushing the trial because it's so much discovery in the trial. Now, for those of you who don't know, discovery is basically a pile of evidence. That's the evidence that everybody gets to look. You got the prosecutor gets to look at it, the defense gets to look at it, or everybody gets to look at it. This is the evidence that's going to be held against Pooh Shiesty, right? And they get the real deal. It has to be fair across the board. And obviously, it's so much stuff in the discovery that they're like, man, we might as well just go to trial right now, because if they keep digging, they might find something else that they're going to try to charge him with. And that's just based on what this story is saying right here. Now, what do you guys think about this situation? Do you think that Pooh Shiesty's legal team rushing to go into trial is a good thing? I mean, nobody that I know is a legal representative or a legal professional, so that's pretty much impossible for anybody to call it, right? Now, what about Pooh Shiesty's future in the rap game, man? Do you think this is a done deal? Is this the last straw, man? Do you think with all these looming charges and stuff, and maybe even the potential for new charges, does it seem like Pooh Shiesty will ever be out rapping at the top of the game like he was before, or is it a done deal, man? Now, with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content, and we out of here. Peace.